what we see can 100% give us a false sense of control. We think because we can see it, we think because we can understand it, we think because we have somewhat figured it out that we're in control. But the Bible is very clear about this. In 2 Corinthians 5 verse 7, it says, "We walk by faith and not by sight." Not sometimes, not when it's convenient, not when that's the assignment, or not when we think we know what to do. Not sometimes, not when it's convenient. That's the assignment. Because sight will have you holding on. Sight will have you trying to stay in control or to take control of things. It will have you trying to make everything make sense. But faith, on the other hand, faith will ask you to release it. It will ask you to surrender it. And let me tell you something. It's in the surrender that God can actually do his work. It's in the surrender that God can actually take control, that he can do what he does best. Because I promise you this, life is going to take you through some things. It is going to take you through some valleys, some very dark valleys. Psalms 23 verse 4 says, "Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil." You notice it says, "though I walk through." It doesn't say maybe. It doesn't say I might. It says, "even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death." So what does that mean? That means hardships. That means loss. That means grief. That means heartbreak. That means pain. Excruciating pain. When you think of the valley of the shadow of death, these things are a part of life. Pain, grief, loss, hardships. We cannot and will never be able to escape these things. And I had to learn this the hard way. I had to learn this in a way that I never could have imagined. Because there is one thing in my life that I will never fully understand. No matter how close I am with God, no matter how I'm walking with God, I will never quite understand it. When my son got into that car accident, I'll never quite understand why he had to get in the car. Why couldn't he just take an Uber? Why couldn't he just ride with his cousins or his friends? Why did he have to get in the car? And why, after serving God for so many years, why, after leading people to God, so many souls that I have led to God, after years of ministry and after surviving the unimaginable, and not just surviving, thriving through things that could have and should have taken me out. After committing my life to God, after doing all things right. Yeah, of course, not all things right, but most things. Why would I have to face such devastation? Why would I have to live with this excruciating pain? You know, my best friend, my twin soul, my soulmate. I remember crying myself to sleep night after night after night, having no appetite, losing so much weight in the first few months. I couldn't eat. I could barely breathe. I couldn't think straight. I was like a walking zombie. And I remember asking God, why? Why would you allow this? Why would you let this happen to me, to him? He was harmless. He was angelic. He has never harmed a person ever in his 30 years of living. There are murderers out here, abusers, really bad, mean, cruel people walking this earth. And yet, my baby had to go. And I spent so many months asking God why. So many. I could barely pray. I didn't want to read my word. I didn't want to go to church. I didn't want to fellowship. I wanted to just isolate. Until one day I got on my knees and I cried out to God. And I said, God, there is no way I can do this without you. There is no way I can survive this without you. There is no way I can carry this cross without you. And I realized in that moment that God wasn't going to give me every why, because if he did, if he gave me every why, I would start relying on the explanation instead of relying on him. And so I had a decision to make. Either I was going to hold on to my need to understand, or I was going to surrender and just trust. Trust like I have never trusted before. And let me be real with you. If I did not trust, I don't know where I would be today. And I would definitely not be behind this camera recording and speaking to you. I had to tap into a level of faith that I don't even think I had. I had to cry out and beg God, beg him to hold me. I had never felt so confused and so lost and so numb throughout anything I have ever been through. And I've been through some things. I had never felt that type of body, mental, spiritual, emotional pain. And so I didn't even know where to start. I just started with crying out, like I'd never cried out in my life. I basically said, God, I don't understand this. I don't think I will ever understand this, but I trust you. And I trust that you are going to carry me through this. And I trust that you are going to give me everything I need to carry this cross, to move forward with this cross, because I am still a mother and my son still needs me. I am not just grieving my son that passed away. I am grieving my son that is still here with me, Captain. I am grieving the old version of me. I am grieving the three of us, what we built, what we had, our joy, our life, our home. And so I need you more than ever. And I trust that you are going to help me through this. That was my prayer. That was it. The truth is, nowhere in the Bible does it say that God promises us a life without pain, without separation, without going through hardships, without adversity. Nowhere in the Bible. But he did promise us that he would be with us along the way, that he would walk with us through it all, and that he would carry us, that he would lighten the burden, that he would comfort us, that he would use everything the enemy tried to use to destroy us, to rebuild us. Those things that tried to break us, that he would use them for something greater. Romans chapter 8, verse 28 reminds us that all things work together for good for those who love him. Not just the winds, not just the mountaintops, but the pain, the loss, the tears, the heartbreak, the delays, the closed doors, all of it. He is weaving it together because you see, God is the master potter and we are the clay. And clay doesn't become something beautiful without pressure, without being stretched, without being molded, without going through the fire. The Bible says many are called, but few are chosen. And I believe the chosen ones must go through the fire. So if you're in a season right now where nothing makes sense and you're questioning everything, right down to your existence, you're asking God, why? I need you to hear me. You may not get the answer, but you will get his presence, and you will feel his presence, and you will feel his strength. You will feel a shift in your spirit, in your mind, in your body. When you are seeking God and you are leaning on Him, you will feel a difference. You will feel that strength. And that's what will carry you, not the explanation, not the outcome, just Him. So my words to you are lean on God with all your heart, not on your own understanding, not on trying to figure things out on your own, not on looking and seeking for answers from family and friends and your partner. Lean on Him. Not your sight, not your feelings. In all your ways, acknowledge Him, and He will make your path straight. Let go of trying to figure it all out. Let go of needing answers for everything and trust God. Believe me, I am sitting here sharing this with you, but it took time. It took months for me to truly surrender this to God, to trust Him again, to know that He is real and that He did not take my baby away. I know and believe that He is still my rock, that He is my protector, my deliverer, my provider, my healer. I know that I know that I know this because I simply would not be here if it was not for God, for trusting Him again. So if this message spoke to your spirit, I'm inviting you to share it because I promise you this, there is someone out there that you know that might be one message away from not giving up. And if you're on this journey yourself of becoming, stay connected. There's more coming.